Hey y'all, it's Megan. If you're returning to my channel, welcome back. And if you are new, welcome aboard. So today there's a piece of hair, right? Okay. Now I feel better. So everyone seems to really enjoy Storytime videos. So that's what we're doing again today. I'm gonna talk about some of the strange guest interactions that I had working at Disney World. And actually both of these are gonna take place in one specific area of the Jungle Cruise. Both of these happened in the line in the wheelchair assist line for the Jungle Cruise. So they don't really have anything to do with each other other than they were both kind of weird and they both happened in that line. So that's what we're talking about today. So the first one is strange in what was actually happening. I still don't really understand. I kind of wish that I could go back and ask some questions now, but obviously I can't. So there is a position at the Jungle Cruise that is wheelchair assist, or there was. All of this obviously is coming from my past experience. Everything could have changed at this point. I don't know. There's standby, there's fast pass, and then over to the side by the exit was the wheelchair entrance. So the wheelchair assist position is there just to accommodate guests who come into that line. That's their entire job, is to figure out how many are in the party. They need to figure out if the person is comfortable transferring from their wheelchair or ECV. If they are comfortable transferring, then that person is also the one who like gets the chairs out of the way once the person transfers out of them into the boat. So that's what the wheelchair assist position does. They assist people in the wheelchair line. Pretty self-explanatory. So I was at that position. There was a couple of people already in the line. I think it was actually one family. It was just a pretty big family, maybe 6 or 8 people. They were in the line and I was just kind of standing there, you know, waiting if anyone else came up, you know, answer questions, whatever. So this kid comes up and he was probably 12 or 13, I don't know. And he was like, hey, my dad has this card and he wanted me to ask where we should go. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, let me see. So at the time it was the guest assistance card, the GAC card. And that was just if someone went to guest relations and they said, hey, I've got this particular situation, you know, that would prevent me from standing in a normal standby line, whatever the reason, you know, it could be lots of different things. But for this particular gentleman, he had had a surgery and it said that he needed to go through the fast pass entrance. Okay, so since it says alternate entrance at Jungle Cruise, that is the fast pass entrance. So I told the kid, I was like, hey, that just means that you got to go into the fast pass line. It's right over there. I pointed it out to him. He's like, okay, cool, thanks. And he goes running off. And I was like, I actually had the thought, wow, someone asked a question, took the answer, and didn't like argue or anything. I was like, man, that's a good kid. Thank you for being respectful, young sir. And so he runs off and I'm standing there. And a second later, he comes back with his dad. And his dad is angry. His dad has a real grumpy face on. And I'm like, hi, what's up? And the kid's like, you said the alternate entrance, right? And I said, yeah, that's the fast pass line. And I pointed it out one more time. And the dad goes, no. And I was like, no what? And he's like, I'm not going through the fast pass line. There's still people in that line. And I was confused. I was like, well yeah, I mean, it's Disney World. There's kind of people everywhere. And he elaborated. He said, I just had a surgery and I can't be in line around other people. And I was like, oh, I was like, would you be more comfortable in a chair? Like, do you need, did you leave a chair somewhere? I thought maybe he had parked his ECV somewhere else, because a lot of people saw where the strollers were parked and they would leave ECVs there and then walk. So that wasn't completely uncommon. So I was like, oh, did you have a chair that you would rather, that you'd be more comfortable in? And he says, no, I'm not handicapped. I just need to use the handicapped line. He was like, that's why I have this. So I was like, can I see your card? Can I see it one more time? And I look at it and I was like, it says alternate entrance. All I can do is tell you that for us, our alternate entrance is the fast pass line. Right now, it's going super quickly. You will be on a boat within the next probably 5 minutes. And he's like, I can't be around any people. I had surgery on my elbow, and if someone touches me, I'm gonna have to have surgery again. So my first question that I have now is, well, I guess if you've booked this vacation a long time in advance and then something happens and you have this surgery, then you can't really do anything about that. So I kind of understand why he was at Disney World in the first place with the situation. But if you can't be touched without having to go back for another surgery, I don't know. I just feel like I would do something about postponing that trip, or I would find someone else who could use my ticket. I would, you know, a brother or sister, or, you know, the kid's aunt, uncle, anyone who could go with him instead of me, if that was the situation I was in. My second question is, what kind of surgery you have that you are cleared to go into a public space like Disney World, but you are so fragile still that you cannot be touched? Anyway, so let's say that that is the case, that he cannot be touched. At Disney World, our job is not to make your life difficult. Our job is to make everything run smoothly and to give you a wonderful experience. So I got my coordinator and I was like, it says alternate entrance, but can he really wants to stay in the wheelchair line because he doesn't want it to have people around him in case they touch his elbow. He just had surgery. I go through the whole thing with her, and she's like, okay, that's fine. Let him stay in the wheelchair line if he wants to. And I was like, okay. So I said, you are welcome to join this line here and hang out. I think he probably thought that it would be faster going through the handicap line, the wheelchair line, because a lot of places it is, because a lot of rides, if they have a wheelchair line, you know, rides are continuously moving a lot of times. The Jungle Cruise is not one of those. The Jungle Cruise, while it is continuously moving, there's only so many boats, so we can't just like pick people up and throw them onto the boats as they go by. You gotta wait for them to come back around, and you gotta wait for the appropriate boats that you can get on. So it did end up taking a little while, and he stood in line for probably 15-20 minutes instead of like 2 or 3, but his elbow was fine. He got what he wanted. Everyone was happy. I hope that kid had a great time at Disney World. It was just kind of a strange interaction. My other strange guest interaction is probably one of the actually, like the strangest interactions that I had while I was working at Disney World. And it just also happened to take place while I was working at Wheelchair Assist. And so we had one family who was there when I took the position. So I hadn't actually been standing there when they arrived. I had been somewhere else and then got, you know, sent there through rotation. So I just showed up, and there was this family there, and it was a lady in an ECV, and then her daughter and her sister. The lady in the ECV sister, her adult sister, the little girl's aunt. Anyway, 3 people. And then I saw that there was another lady who was kind of like leaning on the back of the ECV, just kind of like leaning her arm like this on the back of the ECV. I didn't think anything of it. You know, you're tired, you're leaning, whatever. So I'm standing there. Someone came up and asked me a question. I answered it. I'm talking to the little girl. What was your favorite ride? Blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, second of pause, we're not talking, and I kind of catch the lady in the ECV. I catch her eye, and she goes, and I was like, oh, you don't know this woman who's leaning like this far. She's leaning on the back of the chair, so she's like right here over this woman's shoulder. She's like, I don't know her. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So I walk around to go over to the side of her to try to get her attention and be like, hey, can I help you with something? And as I walk by her, the smell of alcohol was so strong, it was like she had bathed in it. I mean, it was overpoweringly strong as you walked by her. And I was like, the Magic Kingdom's at the time, the Magic Kingdom was a dry park. I'm like, I don't know where this woman has gotten herself some whiskey, but that seemed like what she had been rocking with that day. And I'm like, I'll be right back. So I go to get, I like look around for a coordinator. They're all busy. So I grab the next cast member who walked by, the next skipper who walked by. And it happened to be, for those of you who've been around, it happened to be my friend Skipper Michael. He's been featured in a couple of stories. I'll link my creepy guest interaction video up there. He featured prominently in that one. So I grabbed Michael and I'm like, this lady, I think she's drunk. She's leaning all over this family. They don't know her. What do I do? And he's like, you don't do anything. You're tiny. You don't need to be getting involved with this. I'll go talk to her. And I'm like, thank you. So he comes over and he's like, hey, ma'am, can I talk to you for a second? And she bolts. And by bolt, I mean she tried to run, but she was trying to run through the queue, which meant a lot of like hiking your leg up, going over ropes and around ropes, and all the while she is clutching a Walmart bag, just a plastic bag from, I think it was Walmart. She's clutching this bag to her chest like it's got some important thing in it, and we don't know what it is. And we're like, what does this lady have? Obviously she was not well. I am not trying to make fun of her in any way. So don't think that I am judging her or making fun of her. It's just a strange situation is what I'm talking about. So she's running and she's jumping over these ropes, and Michael's trying to he's like, ma'am, come here. Please don't, you're gonna hurt yourself. Like, just hang on. And because no one was allowed to be drunk in the park. I mean, there was no alcohol served. So first of all, where is it? Where did you get it? That's not allowed to happen. But also, even now, if you are drunk and you are infringing on other guests, we have to, you know, cast members have to talk to you. You have to be dealt with, for lack of a better term. You can't just be stumbling around and drunk and interfering with other guests. So he was just trying to get her and make sure that A, she was okay, and B, check out and make sure, like, what was going on, get her to a safe place where she wasn't going to hurt herself or anyone else, and all the, you know, everything could continue moving as normal. So he finally gets her to stop, and he's like, just come over here, and he talks to her, whatever, and found out her situation, got her taken care of. Security came and got her and got her to a safe place where someone could come and get her and help her get home, and that was taken care of. But the bag had Easter eggs in it, and I'm just trying to my question about this, like the little plastic Easter eggs that you put candies and stuff in that you hide at Easter. Anyway, that was what the bag had in it. That was it. That was all that was in that bag that she had been holding. So what makes this such a strange interaction is the fact that she came into the park somehow like this. And to go into the park, you have to go through security. So did she show security the plastic bag full of plastic Easter eggs? And they were like, okay, seems normal, go ahead, come on in. I have so many questions about this. How did she get in? Obviously being under the influence of alcohol, and also, what were the security people's reactions when she had them check through the bag of Easter eggs? Those are the questions I have, and that's what makes this story so strange. I really don't understand. And that family obviously they were fine, and they were happy that Michael came and got that lady to stop leaning on them and breathing on them, because she had indeed been imbibing a little bit. So yeah, it was just a weird situation all around. So that's it for today. My weird, strange guest interactions, both of which just happened to be while I was working in the wheelchair line at the Jungle Cruise. There's so many more strange guest interactions, but those are just two of them. And if you enjoy these Storytime videos, thank you so much for watching. And I do appreciate that y'all listen to me with all of my superfluous details and my gesticulating wildly. Sorry that I didn't post a video last week. I was sick with something. I don't know. I was laying on the couch dying for a while. So I did not post a video last week, but hopefully I am all better now, and I'm back on the train, ready to go. My next video, if everything goes well and I get everything up when I should, it should be a fun facts and history about the Sword and the Stone. So if you are interested in that, make sure you look forward to that coming soon. If you have any strange guest interactions that you have encountered while you were a guest or a cast member or anything at Disney World, let me know those down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.